0.75. Will that be the difference? Fixing to find out. And installed the Copo Camaro spring Turbo Smart OPR regulator. There it is. Part number if y'all need it. Before we get started on this video, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor for this video, which is going to be iCrimp Tools. They have a ton of options on their website, as you see. But of the two options, I selected to go with just a cool, really neat crimping toolkit. This comes with a screwdriver and it has adjustable bits here. So for all your different style of crimping dies, this is the all-in-one tool you need for everything. Very nice packaging, super easy just to transport when you're out either at the track or in your garage working on your car. Love this. And the other thing that they also sent was a huge one that I plan on actually digging into here and learning is Deutsch connectors. So this car has Deutsch all over it. Everything, especially being that it's street driven, it's going to be seeing elements on the roads and the weather, and a weather pad connector, Deutsch connector, with having the seals is going to be perfect, keeping the moisture out of those connections. So this kit is completely all-inclusive. It comes with everything you need. All your different individual sizes from big to small are stamped. Very nice material. Can't say enough about them. Y'all make sure to go check out iCrimp. I'll leave the description below, and make sure you use my code associated with it. That'll also be in the description to receive a discount. And if you guys are wiring gurus, I'm not, but this is motivation right here to start learning. And what better way to have iCrimp on board and making from everything from repairs to new connections, they got you covered. So iCrimpTools.com. Check them out below. Let's get to the video. Okay guys, so if you haven't watched the last video, you won't really know what's going on. So make sure you go check that out if you kind of want the full length story. I'll give you the short version. I've been having issues with this knockoff Holley pan not getting past 55 PSI of oil pressure. I actually went and ordered a Turbo Smart OPR oil pressure regulator and installed that, and allows it to get to 45 PSI. Talked with the turbo company. They actually recommend these for their TDI turbos, which is what this is on my car. And that didn't work either. So when we left off, I was making about 55 pounds of boost, and that was not boost, 55 pounds of pressure of oil, fully operational, logged and logged and logged, and it was just not getting past that. Makes all the boosts and everything else is fine. Don't know. So my last ditch effort to fix this issue and test, and if it is what it is, maybe the bearings are just a little too loose. I don't know. I'm not saying it's gonna break, but ideally I would like to see a little more if I can help it when I'm in the higher RPMs, because this thing goes to 7,000 plus, so I'd like to have at least 70 pounds of oil pressure. So what I'm gonna do to relieve that, I saw similar posts online recently of other people having their own set of issues, some similar. So one guy actually had talked to Holley themselves and just replaced the pickup tube. So that is what I got here today. I called Holley earlier this week and they sent me out a just pickup tube that we're going to install. I went ahead and drained and did all the fun stuff, getting ready for UPS to deliver this morning, and we're gonna take this one out and put in the new one. Now I'm just curious because yeah, they kind of look identical in the grand scheme of things. The only actual difference besides this one having two fasteners and this one already being tapped, only having one fastener and then just, tack welded there, versus this one's loosey-goosey there, is the actual screen. So let me grab a light and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. My laptop out of the way. So if you look in here, this silver one being the Holly one, this is the one that came in the knockoff kit. The mesh screen is a little bit finer, but it is actually pressed up pretty close against the tube itself. Versus this one, there's actual depth. So we'll see if this works. The meshing is a little bit bigger. Whether that will be the difference, apparently someone on the interwebs said that it did. Causes pressure to instantly be fixed once he installed this one. So I'm going to give it a shot. It was 60 bucks shipped. Why not? If all else fails, it's just gonna live where it's at. Everything else looked fantastic. This just might be a cheap Chinese pickup tube. I don't know if the diameters are any different. Everything looks about the same. Yeah, the bends look the same. This one might have a little more bend here versus this, but why don't I do this? Let me, since I'm trying to do too many things at once, let me get this set up on a tripod and let's measure the inside diameter of this tube and compare it to the ID of this tube. All right, so got my handy dandy calipers here. We're zeroed out. I want to measure the ID of this and 0.7. Okay. Now the contender here. Let's see if this is any different. Oh yeah, I can already tell you. That's definitely bigger. I think the issue I was having was volume. Let's see, that's pretty tight there. All right, so 0.75. Will that be the difference? We're fixing to find out. Gonna go ahead and get this all put back together, cleaned up. The other thing that I will mention is that I also, since I am in here, changed out the spring. So I went ahead and went to a Copo spring. I do know that I think my rods, the rods and mains, I want to say it's 26, 28. I don't know if that's just what I was told from the builder. So they're a little bit on the looser side. Dropped the plug out of the relief spring and installed the Copo Camaro spring, which should boost it up, I don't know, 15, 20%, something in that range. So that should be good. So we're going to get everything back together, fill it back up with fluids, oil, everything's good. We'll put all that fun stuff back in and hopefully have all the oil pressures. We'll put you guys down on a time lapse. Let's knock it out. Also too, while I'm bolting things up, forgot to mention, went ahead and got spacers, being that I'm front plate and mid plate, to make up the difference. I will make sure the belt doesn't sit here, it sits right in the middle, give or take. And these were, I forget the dimensions on them, but 20 bucks or so on Amazon. And also went to a manual tensioner because the spacing I had before in the other one was making the idler pulley squeak. So I got a new pulley. Went and hit up ICT Billet, shout out to them. They spec'd everything out, so everything lines up perfect. Ribs, everything's good. They did all the hard work guessing for me, so hit that up and got that taken care of on the way, installed everything, all that fun stuff. And there's my old brackets, tensioner, and extra hardware and stuff, that old bolts. Oh, and the Turbo Smart OPR regulator, there it is. Part number if y'all need it.
Pretty sweet deal there. So also too, side note, got some 12AN PTFE fittings because my 12AN line that goes to my MagnaFuel external pump is leaking. So I have it set up perfect right now where it's not, but I know that I need to fix that. It's a future me problem. But let's go ahead and get the water pump, radiator, everything back in here. And then we will bolt up the K-member, fill it up with fluids, and see if we have more oil pressure. All right, got everything buttoned up, oil's in it, radiator is full, just need to wait for the thermostat to open, which is what we're about to do. I'll go ahead and fire this thing up, let it get up to temp, let the rest of the water and the air get out of the radiator lines and kind of purge it. And then we're gonna go for a rip and see, hopefully, if this fixed the issue. All right.
Well, I just realized I didn't really do an outro on this after I made those polls, but we're gonna do that now. So, shameless plug real quick. Just added some JD Racing stickers for your windshield or back glass, whatever you wanna do. They're on the website now, so check those out. I think they turned out pretty cool. And yeah, I think they're like 12, 15 bucks, something like that. It's like an 8-inch sticker, nevertheless. So, pass went great. I'm super happy with it. We finally had this issue fixed, and we can kind of put it behind us and just focus on testing. Once the weather gets better, it's fixing to snow here, so she's in the garage for now. And I want to go over the data real quick with you guys so you can see what I was experiencing on those polls you just saw. So real quick, RPM, let's see, there we go. So as I got into it, before this was down from 62 to like 50, 55, and this is once we're up to temp, so 200 degrees give or take on oil temp, which doesn't log, but I do have it on a gauge on the inside of the car. And just revving it up here as you watch the RPM climb, we stay in the 60s. And I'm okay with that because we're at 6,000. I don't think I even ran this out. Yeah, 6388, almost 6,400. I didn't really go to 7,000 because, like I said, I was doing so much testing. So, but 65 PSI was peak. It went down to 63.
62, and then I lifted, demand obviously decreased, so it spiked 67 and then tapered off. And it idles right around, this was still with the 2050 oil in it, which now I'm running, I went ahead and put the 1540 back in it, but I might switch back, we'll see. This was idling like 40, 45 PSI, I think. Well, this is 35 PSI, so my bad. 35 PSI with the 20W50. With the 1540 that I swapped into it, I drove it around yesterday and it idles around 30, so it's like a 5 PSI difference. So maybe I'll run the 2050, prefer to have 30 to 35, so either one doesn't really matter. But nevertheless, the issue before, like I said, is it would get and stay at 55. Now we're at 65 on the hit there, and I am so happy with that. There's about 6.5 quarts of oil in here now. I don't see any signs of it sloshing, but the real test will be, honestly, this is a rolled into hit, will be when I leave off the trans brake, which can't do that on the street. I mean, I can, but it's just gonna blow the tires off. I wanna see if I have any significant dips, like if this was inverted. And that would tell me that the baffling tray in there is not up to par. You really won't see that unless you're on a sticky track on the starting line. So yeah, that is a-okay now. I'm very happy with it. Now we can kind of focus on, like I said, just dialing this thing in, turning up the boost, A's to B's, all the things in between. So that pretty much is gonna have to do it for this video. I'm gonna try to do some more testing, driving along, maybe take y'all along for that, because I know everyone likes to see this thing rip. And just gotta wait for some warmer weather because it's January and February and nothing's gonna hook when the streets are cold, damp, half the time anyway. So kind of bummer, but it's a really good feeling for those who race to understand when you have something that's just like in the box or in the garage, ready to go, do whatever. We have an event coming up in a few months. I would like to go testing, or plan to go testing, when the track opens up, I believe in March. So until then, I'm gonna enjoy the car. I went out yesterday and got some extra gas for the generator and just putzed around, just making sure everything's still doing what it's doing and a-okay, and got plenty of fuel in the barrel. So it's good just to sit and relax and enjoy the car for a little bit before racing season starts. And racers know nothing better feeling when you can drive it on and off the trailer. So that's gonna do it. Make sure to check out jdracing.shop and you get your hats, shirts, hoodies, everything in between. I appreciate it. Like and share this video, you guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.